Hi, everyone. I am just inviting you up to the stage like we normally do for our sessions so that you have an opportunity to ask your question without having to take a long time.
Hear about it in a space, the agri tech space, but I'm just like, oh, people tend to be a bit hesitant on it. So just want to hear what it is, especially what it entails, basically. Yeah, not just basically on the cryptocurrency aspect. Maybe I'm off topic on that, but just what does it typically entail? Yeah.
Right. No, I do not think that you are off at all. I actually am. I've been investing in crypto for a long time, for, I don't know, maybe 8 to 10 years or something like that. But anyway, so I've been in the crypto space, but in terms of heavy investment, it's been only in the last like maybe say last like 5 to 7 years. Buy small things here and there, not really paying attention to them. And then in terms of like blockchain, I agree with you. I think that it's great for you to welcome everyone. You're more than welcome to come join the stage. We're waiting for our speaker to come, and we're doing our light welcome, but you are definitely invited to join the stage. But as I was saying, Lisa, I started in this space through crypto investments, and then transitioned over to actually learning which one actually works, and then also to the point to where now now I'm at the point where I actually want to build on the blockchain. So I think it's a very interesting. I think it's the wave of the future. I actually do believe that we're at the point now where we're about to be converted over. You might wake up one day and you're like, "Holy crap! I'm in the U.S., so our dollar would fall, and here it is, crypto, right?" So I think it's super interesting, and I have many projects that I could build that I've been looking at for a long time. So this is like progress. I don't know what you're doing down there, but my sis, I need you on the stage. Please interrupt me at any time. So this is the point where, yeah, yeah. So this is the point where I'm super excited that the more information we can offer about, blockchain and, in the space and the many things you could do, that this is the time to learn. It's always a good time to build. So I am super excited about this part of our segment. And I probably will always keep blockchain on the map. You guys are going to be like, I'm sick of her and her freaking blockchain. Every time we turn around, she's got us learning something blockchain. Only because that's the banking of the future. And ultimately, every system will convert to it. That's just my opinion. We're seeing them build it. So we will now stop talking, and our speaker is, I mean, our instructor. I don't want to say speaker. You are instructor, because you're going to be teaching all of us what we should be paying attention to. So without further delay, I'm going to turn it over to Progress so she could teach us about demystifying blockchain and unlocking opportunities in Africa. So thank you for joining us.
All right. So, hi everyone. Good afternoon from my own time zone. My name is Pogosh Kayada, and I'm here to take you guys on the first session. Is going to be more about the Web3 and blockchain fundamentals before going to other in depth for the other sessions. So, about me, I'm a blockchain and a security engineer. I'm also a DevRel with hands-on experience across both EVM and non-EVM chains. So, before anything else, before talking about going into Web3, I would love to talk about, first of all, what Web1 is, because before we have Web3, you might have heard of the word a lot called Web3. Before we have Web3, there was a Web1, there was a Web2, and now a Web3. So, talking about the Web1 back then is more of like a static website. It's called a static web. There's no interaction. You can just go through it and just read through it, but you cannot interact with it. You cannot like have video calls. You cannot like anything. You cannot comment. You cannot even unmute and speak in anything, any of the website there. And one of the world famous Web1 is Wikipedia. If you just take your phone and just check what Wikipedia is, just click through it, you will see that you can only read through things, and you can't really try to comment or reach out to someone to talk to them about what's going on. That's what Web 1 is all about. And now talking about the Web 2. The Web 2, which we are all using right now, for example, this platform we have, this I also have Twitter, we also have LinkedIn. Those are Web 2 because you can interact with them, you can read what someone's post about, you can follow the person, you can like their post, you can even have video call or audio calls in them, so you can really interact with it. That's when the internet changed from being just a normal static website to something that is more dynamic and interactive. So talking about the Web 3, the Web 3 came into place in, let me say, early 2000. Yeah, but we're talking about the communities and people talking about Web 3 more often started in 2001. During that should be during the COVID-19 period, if I'm not mistaken. And Web 3 is the next phase of the internet. It emphasizes on decentralization, transparency, and peer-to-peer interactions. When I say decentralization, I mean when it's not like Web 2, whereby the it's just controlled by just one person. Like for example, if you're using Twitter or LinkedIn or Facebook or over YouTube, you notice that if you violate any of their policies, they can easily just cancel your account, delete your account, and you will not have access to any thing anymore. That's how Web 2 is. That's centralized policy. It's controlled by one person, and there are a lot of rules and regulations. Sometimes they will ask you to do KYC before you can have access to some of the certain platforms. So we're talking about the Web 3, talking about the transparency aspect of the Web 3. When I say transparency, I mean that if you're using like a Web 3 platform, anything you're doing online, mostly when you are sending in transactions, maybe like let me not use the word transaction right now, let me use the word of sending money from me to you, I send money from my account to your account, everything is visible in the blockchain. Like if I just have your wallet address, when I say an address, I would say an address is more of like a account number. Yeah. So if I have like your account number, just put it inside the blockchain, I'm able to see the money you have, able to see the money you said is sent to me, able to see where it came from, the timestamp, everything that is there. That's how transparent it is. Mostly when you're dealing with a private blockchain. So moving on from this introduction part, talking about the word blockchain. So blockchain is part of Web 3. Blockchain is more of like talking about a car. A car itself is Web 3. Then the engine is like blockchain. So just see that the engine's powering the car. You get, so meaning that there are other parts of the car that is very, very useful and the car can't really live without, right? But that engine itself does it as the word blockchain. Blockchain itself is still big on its own. I would say blockchain is more of like a decentralized. I've explained what about decentralized, meaning that nobody's in charge of anything. Nobody can come and just ban your account. Nobody can come and have access to your data. And if you, for example, let's go back to Web 2. When you're using the Web 2, you will notice that there's some things you're doing using the Web 2 app, maybe Facebook or Instagram or so. And then in the next 5 or 10 seconds, you notice that something you were just searching about, you start seeing like a ad that just pop up on your screen about it. Why did that happen? Your data has been sold, and that's what is used for the ads. And you don't really have any, you can't come up and be like, okay, why did this my data or stuff like that? Because that's how it works. But for Web 3, you have access to your data. Everything is just belongs to you. Your security, everything belongs to you. It's so transparent. It's more of like I love using the word freedom because you're free to do anything you want to do. So talking about blockchain itself, blockchain, like I said, it's a decentralized distributed ledger technology that records transactions across a network of computers in a secure and transparent manner. When I said record transactions and also the word ledger, like for ledger, I would say ledger is more of like a let me say a record book whereby financial transaction has been recorded in. That's what, let me say, the normal word of ledger. So when I say distributed, it's not just one book. is scattered everywhere and they're all connected. Like it's called a node connected. Different computers are connected and it records different transactions. A transaction, I will talk more about transaction later on, but when I say transaction is like it contains for example, I'm sending money from myself to you, maybe using like I said, the word account number, using your account number to send money from my own account to your own account. When it's being sent, that data that is sent contains the timestamp, the amount, the address is sent in from, and the address sent it to. Everything together, bundled together as a data, is called like a transaction. So the blockchain is just it records it in a centralized manner and it's very secure and transparent to everybody. But actually, it depends on the kind of blockchain we are talking about. So let's move on to the types of blockchains. We have different types of blockchains. The one that is very, very common is the public blockchains. Talking about the public blockchains, we have Ethereum, we have Bitcoin. So Bitcoin itself is like a type of public blockchain. And there's other blockchains too, but Bitcoin is more very famous because it's one of the first blockchains that ever came out. And while Bitcoin, we have Ethereum. It's a blockchain called Ethereum. I don't know if you have ever heard of anything called maybe that's one blockchain that is very very famous. It's Base blockchain. It's people talk about it a lot. I don't know if you have heard about it maybe on Twitter or maybe LinkedIn, depends. Or people talk about it a lot. We have Ethereum, Bitcoin, Stellar, Solana. They're all public blockchains. When I say public, I mean that everybody can see what's going on in the blockchain. If I just go to the blockchain now, I can see everything that's going on in the blockchain. Maybe I should just do a little bit of practical, just show you something. So this is a blockchain. Let me say scan. Okay, it's a scan. This is like me accessing a blockchain. Okay, this is like a blockchain. It's transparent. Everything is just transparent in here. So you can see that there are different kind of transactions that happened. This one happened 12 seconds ago. This one happened 12 seconds ago. Like as long as it's just successful, it should just be recorded on the blockchain. So if I click on this latest transaction right now, you see that everything is just transparent. This is the transaction hash, the status, it was successful. For the timestamp it happened 34 seconds ago. It came from this person's wallet address and it went to this person's wallet address. And this is the amount that was sent, and this is the fee that was taken from it. And there's something called gas price that was also taken for it as well. So it's a whole lot, but it is very, very visible in the blockchain. This is called a public blockchain. So moving on, we also have a blockchain called private blockchain. For private blockchains, you can't see all these things. The stuff I showed to you just now is not visible on the blockchain. It is private. And those blockchains are just like IBM and Hyperledger. You can research more about it later on. But those blockchains are very, very private. And you hardly see people build on it. What people build mostly on is the public blockchain because the decentralization is clear and everything is just where we can all see and verify what's going on. They also have a blockchain called the hybrid blockchain. The hybrid blockchain is more of like a mixture of both the public and the private blockchain together. So someone building something about somebody this person loves the feature of the public blockchain, also love the feature of the private blockchain. So merging those two key features together, building something called the hybrid blockchains. So they have different kinds of blockchains though, but these are the three ones that are very, very talked about in the blockchain space. So moving on, there's something called consensus mechanism in the blockchain space. When you hear the word consensus, whenever it is you hear it, because you're definitely going to hear it more often in the space. Because now that I'm introducing to the blockchain space, you're going to hear this word a lot. So whenever I hear the word consensus, what should come to your head is agreement. That's what comes to my head a whole lot. That's the easiest way I can explain to anybody. Like, okay, consensus, oh, agreements. Oh, yeah, agreements mechanisms. What is it doing? Okay, definitely people are agreeing on something, right? That's what should just come to your mind. And all these consensus mechanisms, it was part of what makes up a blockchain. So for a blockchain to function, they have different ways that things are being done in an acceptable manner. First of all, from what I wrote here, I said consensus mechanisms is a system of nodes that has been programmed to agree on the state of the data and validate transaction, ensuring a shared and trustworthy ledger. This is all big English though, but if I want to break it down for you, I will tell you that consensus mechanism means like an agreement, a type of agreement that people do agree on in a certain blockchain. For example, they have different kinds of consensus mechanisms. We have one called the proof of work, the other one called the proof of stake, and the one called the delegated proof of stake. There are a whole lot, but this is the three most famous. When I say proof of work, for a blockchain called Bitcoin that we're all familiar with, there's a way that data and transactions are being carried out. It's called the consensus mechanism is called proof of work. When I play proof of work, like people, or let's say miners, they try to solve a puzzle. So if they successfully solve that puzzle, it's and validate that block is the winner of it. So and it's actually done. It's done in a very quick way. That's I agree me. I can't really explain, but that's how data are being validated in the blockchain that use proof of work consensus mechanisms. And one of the blockchain that uses that is Bitcoin. Other blockchains have their own of consensus mechanisms as well. They mean the way they agree on something, like the way data is being validated on the blockchain. You have one of proof of stake. Proof of stake is being used by Ethereum and Solana. When I say stake, like for example now, those validators or people that are or different nodes of computer that are connected together, they try to stake different amounts of it. So when you stake different amounts of it, the the validator with the highest kind of stake brings that data and validate that block. So it's more of like a concept that's been carried on in the blockchain that you might not really get the concept right now, but it's just for you to just understand it a bit that every blockchains have their way they agree on certain data. Our data is being validated. Every blockchain has a different way of doing it, and that thing of agreement is called consensus mechanisms. So moving on. We've talked about the consensus mechanisms, right? And talked about Web 2, we talked about Web 3, we talked about the types of blockchains and all. So talk about the key concept of Web 3, like what really makes up Web 3. Now I told you that Web 3 it's a whole lot, it's more of like the car. And the blockchain itself is like an engine. If you have an engine, definitely you're going to have the seats, going to have a whole lot of things that powers the car, right? That's what blockchain Web3 itself is all about. So Web3 is made up of all of things, and one of them is the blockchain that I already explained to you. This is decentralized distributed data ledger technology, and we have smart contracts. I don't know if you heard of smart contracts, but I would say let me try to explain it in a more simpler way. Let me say, for example, in Web 2, we have the front end, we have the back end, if you have knowledge about that one. In the back end, there are some certain level of APIs that the back end developer work on so that the front end can function. Because without those back end code or logic that is being written, the front end can't work. Like me using this platform right now, there are some things that's being done underneath the scene that the front end have to integrate to it so that it can work, so that I can share my screen, so that I can talk and everybody can hear me. Those backend are called the logic, right? So, but in Web3 have their own system. Their own back end is called smart contracts. And that smart contract is more of like a logic. Like for example, now we have $1,000, and me and you, we have maybe want to make a decision that okay, we want to bet on something. We want to bet that okay, Chelsea is going to win the game. If Chelsea wins this game, I will collect my $1,000 back. But if Chelsea does not win this game, you will collect the 1,000 naira from me. So if you want to make that agreement, the best place to make that agreement is having a smart contract, putting it in a logic, and putting the money inside the smart contract. So when it's being put on the smart contract and deployed on the blockchain, the smart contract will be reading the data, the option data from online to see who's going to win the game. So if, for example, the game there was maybe in the game Chelsea won the game, and immediately the smart contract saw that okay, Chelsea has won this game. The smart contract will just take the money from the smart contract itself and send that money straight up to my account without anybody trying to play anything fun, do anything funny, or do anything like that's definitely not good. Because if you are dealing with humans, if they say, okay, no, I'm not giving you this money, there's nothing you can do. So what you can do, probably just take them to the charge them to court or do something else. But if you have a smart contract that is guiding these things, the smart contract will just execute the logic and then just send the money straight up. There's nothing you can do. That's how decentralized it is. That's how self-executing it is. And are more of like programs that are being written and carried out. And smart contract is being done by blockchain engineers, people that understands the programming language, people that can code all the smart contracts. So that's what those are the people that are in charge of the smart contract itself. So I hope I did justice to that as well. They also have part of Web3 that is called decentralized data storage. It's more of like a P2P network, peer-to-peer network that is being data has been saved in a single server. Like normal the Web2, so not single server, it's like a server across, not single server, sorry. In the Web2 system, data can be saved in just one server, right? Or probably if one server is not enough, they can just put it in another server to be like one or two servers. But in decentralized data storage, it's saved in multiple servers. Like it's across everywhere, distributed, like many servers that you can't even count them. So where it's been saved in those servers, you give the users the access of having control over their own data, not the one that a centralized body will have control over your data. So you as a user, you have control over your data. You can do anything you want to do with it. You can decide to say, okay, I don't want to give access to this. I want to give access to that. Anything you want to do, you're free to do. That's the freedom of Web3 itself. So other components of Web3 too will have something called fungible token. Fungible token is more of like for example, let's talk about Bitcoin. Bitcoin has its own native currency called Bitcoin. That's the coin that everybody to talk about and buy. When it's high, they sell. When it's low, they buy stuff like that. That token itself is like a fungible token. In other blockchains like Ethereum, we have the token called Ether, which is also have the one of maybe you want to buy the one of ERC20 token. Depends on the one you want to buy though. Those tokens itself that is used as a tradable that can use to pay for something or buy something, those are called fungible token. Then we're talking about non-fungible tokens, which is NFTs. I don't know if anybody has heard of NFTs before because it's everywhere, but I definitely heard of it though. It's more of like having a data ownership over those assets. So Web3 has given us this privilege of like maybe for example I have maybe this slide I created and I want to have ownership over the slides. I don't want anybody to have this slide. I want to be the only owner. I can just take these slides and meet it on the blockchain and it just belongs to me and me alone. So nobody can come and be like, okay, this data belongs to me. This one, this is for me, or stuff like that. I have ownership over it. This is mine. If I decide to say, okay, I want to trade it, or I want to give some certain people a part of it, I can do that. But if I don't want to do it, nobody else can have ownership over that data because it belongs to me. So Web3 also have something called decentralized autonomous organizations called DAOs. This is more of like a community governed organization that operates on the blockchain technology where decisions are made by tokens. So if for example now we want to create something about, for example, there's a project or maybe there's an organization, yeah, this organization, and maybe someone just came up and be like, okay, we want to start a new feature whereby we'll start selling digital courses. For that decision to be approved, there have to be some certain people that have the token of this platform, maybe a token called AWIT, yeah. And that token, you can only use that token to vote for that proposal or vote against it. So that's what the Web3 has made. It makes everybody to have ownership and everybody to have access to do different things and like giving you, for example, if you have a token of this platform and you can vote for something or vote against it, that's freedom to you and you make it feel so powerful. That's what Web3 has made everyone to feel. That's why nobody wants to leave Web3, to be honest with you. Now let's talk about wallets, different kind of wallets. I don't know if you have heard about wallets though, but when I say wallets, wallet is more of like wallets. For example, you have a wallet, your normal wallet you have. In your wallet, you can use it to keep your money, or maybe keep your ID card, or maybe keep anything you have, right? So the same thing in Web3. In Web3 has something called wallets. And in wallets, wallet don't really keep cryptocurrencies, but cryptocurrencies live, because it lives on the blockchain actually. Wallet does help you to keep some specific keys called your private keys, your public keys, and maybe your seed phrase. When I say private keys, I think I should show this to you. Let me show it to you from in here. We're more practical that way. This is a wallet, a Web3 wallet. So if you come here and I come into the wallet, okay, this is my wallet. This is my public key of my wallet. Right now I have 0 naira in this wallet, right? So if I take my private key is something that is accessible to everybody. Everybody can see it and you can give it to anybody. And if I want to send you money, I will need to use your private key. Sorry, your public key, which is this key that's in here. So if I copy this my public key and I give to somebody to give me money, the person can just send the amount of money into this my public key, and the money will display in here that okay, I have $10 or I have $50 or whatever it is I have. Why there's something called public key? There's something called private keys. Those private keys are advisable that nobody should see that private key, because if someone sees that private key, the person can literally like hack your accounts, like definitely hack it. But I'm going to show this to you because I don't really use this wallet, and I use it for mainly testing purposes. I don't use it for my normal day-to-day life. So in here, you see that see has securities in here, right? It's called a private key. Click on it to tell you that warning, never disclose this key. Anyone with a private key can steal and access it to your account. It's telling this warning. So never ever ever let anybody see this private key. And I don't think I will show this to anybody because never can tell. Maybe a day can come I would want to use it. And the same way there's a private key, something called secret recovery phrase. This secret recovery phrase is what is being used to protect your account itself, your wallet itself. If, for example, now you misplaced this your wallet and you want to recover the wallet, you can just, if you wrote down this thing maybe in your notebook or you wrote it down somewhere else, you can just easily copy this and move your wallet from where it was before into your phone. And it's not more of like having a copy of it though. Not like as if you can just remove it completely. Like having a copy of your wallet that's currently on your laptop straight to your phone. That's how that works. I hope I did justice to the explanation. So moving on from here, let's go to the types of wallets. I'd explained it just now. We have let me say 4 types of wallets currently. We have something called the custodial wallets and the non-custodial wallets. Talking about the custodial wallets, they are more of like the way whereby your private keys, like I explained to you, are being managed by a third party like Binance. I don't know if you heard of Binance or Bybit, because where I'm from right now, Binance and Bybit works in my country, and it's very good because it helps me to swap my cryptocurrency, normal currency, which is naira that I use. I can do it like a normal conversion to convert it into money. I can withdraw it and spend it where I am. And they have different kind of tokens in those custodian wallets, and they can use it to trade, just do anything you want to do. But the issue with the custodian wallet is that your private keys are being managed by those people. So they help you manage it. So if anything happens to your phones, you can reach out to them that something's happened to my phone, like what's going on, and they will help you to fix it. And sometimes they help you if you lose your money. If something that it's maybe it's something that is their fault, they can give you back the money. Or maybe if you send a money to a wrong address, if it's something they can do, they can easily help you to refund the money back. That's just the benefit of the custodial wallet. Then for the non-custodial wallets, you are the one who holds your private keys. An example of the non-custodial wallet was the wallet I showed to you just now, that I showed you the private key and the public key. That's the example of non-custodial wallet. You're the one of your private keys. Like you're the one in charge of your own security. Example of them is MetaMask, Trust Wallet, and Hard Wallet, and etc. And the disadvantage about this non-custodial wallet is that now that you have the privacy, you have the secure security in your own hands, you can probably do something, because a lot of hackers in this space are trying so hard to hack people's wallets to steal their money and all. So maybe you can maybe mistakenly click on a link that can just hack your wallet, or you can mistakenly click on a link and connect your wallet to that link, and you can lose access to your funds forever. That's the issue about not consider wallets. And that's why most times some people, if you always advise you that, okay, if you don't know how to manage your wallet, you don't know how to take about the security steps, maybe just go for the non for the consider wallet instead of going for a non-consider wallet. But my own advice is that when you get to this phase, just make sure that if you open a wallet that is not custodian, make sure that you don't it's maybe it's a spare phone that you don't really interact with different links with, or probably it's a laptop that you don't really interact with different links with, because anything is possible in this space. So we also have the wallet called the Hot wallet. This is used for the online phase. Hot wallet is more of like the one I showed you recently. That's MetaMask. That's called Hot wallet. It's connected to the internet or probably another connected devices. Then something called Code wallet. Code wallet is more of like for example, let me say what I use. For example, I have this like this. This can be like a wallet that's my phones are in here, and it can actually it's actually smaller than this, very very small. My phones can just be in here like this, and I can use it to like send money to it or send money out of it. But it's very very secure because it's not being connected to any sites, or there's no way hackers can hack this wallet. To be honest with you, and the only way probably they can just try to hack it is maybe if I'm trying to sign a transaction and I'm using this wallet to sign a transaction, then maybe they can just like encode some kind of transaction data and then get access to the wallet. But it's very, very hard to hack this kind of wallet compared to the other ones I showed you before. So moving on, let's just talk about a little bit about transactions. I've talked about it before though, and I said that in here I will say that transaction is a state change on a blockchain ledger that captures an activity such as sending cryptocurrency, deploying a smart contract, or interacting with a smart contract. So transaction can be anything as long as you're interacting with the blockchain. You're just performing a transaction. If I'm sending money from my wallet address to your own wallet address, you're performing a transaction. If as a developer I am deploying a smart contract, I told you for smart contract is more of like the back end of Web3. If I'm deploying that on the blockchain, that's a transaction. If you as a user you're interacting with a smart contract that's already been deployed by a developer, that's a transaction. So anything you're doing in the Web3 space, as long as you are signing that thing, you're performing a transaction. So that's what it's all about transaction. So talking about why Web3 matters. Web3, in Web3 actually you have true ownership of your data. Your data belongs to you. Nobody have access to that data. It all belongs to you and you only. And you have enhanced privacy and security. Yeah, it's secure, but I think there's still, to be honest with you, I actually thought Web3 was 100% secure before I went into security. But me being in security now, I realized that Web3 is not really that secure anymore. There are a lot of hackers that are coming into Web3 to just hack people's money and just to make people cry or probably make people lose their jobs. It's a whole lot, but the only way you can prevent it is just by doing things the right way. And in Web3 as well, you have digital asset ownership. I talk about NFTs, whereby anything can be tokenized. Maybe your phone, you can tokenize your phone. You can tokenize your drawings. If you're an artist, you can tokenize your art. Anything you want, you can just store into an NFT and you can make money with it. That's how Web3 is. And also in Web3, there are financial inclusion. They call the word DeFi. In Web3, there are a whole lot of, like, for example, if in a country that they don't really have access to maybe bank or maybe let me just use World Bank for example. There's maybe they don't have access to bank. In Web3, you don't have to have access to the bank for you to perform a transaction. You can be maybe a teenager. You can be a teenager that you don't even have an account, access to an account, but you can just have a wallet address and you can do business online and just send the money to you. Nobody cares. And the funny thing is that the way the banks, I don't know about the banks in your country, but my country, if you have a certain amount of money in your account, there's a limit for what you can spend. You can't spend a certain limit in a day. Like they set the limits for you, probably certain minutes you can receive in your bank. But in Web3, you can receive so much money you want to receive, like a whole lot. Nobody cares because nobody will know what's going on. You have access to your everything. You get privacy is there, your ownership is there, everything is there. And they're creating a whole lot of systems in Web3 now that a lot of solutions are being built in Web3. Like there are a lot of blockchains and projects that empower people to just to build on them and just giving money to just make sure that okay, the financial system is just secure and financial system, there are more opportunities and more solutions that are being built on it. So there are a whole lot of things there. The same thing about the innovation. A lot of projects are coming up, a whole lot of ideas, beautiful ideas. Looking about stable coins now that like people to do what they want to do, right? And the money is just there. Money doesn't fluctuate like the other tokens. It's just there. And the one thing I noticed about before Web3 came into place, if for example someone is sending money from a country to another country, it takes maybe a week or two for the person to receive it. But in Web3, in seconds, you can send money from one country to another country. It's so easy, so fast. It's Web3 is eye opening and Web3 is here to stay. Web3 is the next um it's the next web. It's actually the web already though, but it's the next big thing. And Web3 is still very much early and Web3 is looking for a whole lot of people to get into it. If you start right now, I'm pretty sure in the next 5 years you would have gone far and you would have been one of the top people in Web3. So the key summary here is just that I talked about the evolution of Web2, the evolution of the web, talked about the blockchain basics, I talked about wallets, keys, talked about transaction, I also talked about why Web3 matters. So that's it for me. Thank you.
This was super informative for the basics. I don't think a lot of people can appreciate how much of the basics really matters. Because with the basics, this is how you learn how to shift the money around, where money is stored, and all of that good stuff. So please ask lots of questions in this beginning. Maybe some of you are already familiar, so maybe this might not be your question segment. But once you understand these basics, it makes your life easier. Or if you had confusion, well, maybe you were trying to make something happen. Um, Maybe you were trying to purchase a coin, whatever the case is. But we're at the basic beginning. And if you have questions, this is definitely a good time to get those questions in. So feel free to turn your mic on, ask your questions, and let us know if there's anything else that you wanted to add.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So I just wanted to know because I know there has been discussions of this in the agriculture sector, using blockchain technology in the agriculture sector. So I just wanted to know where it would typically apply in terms of the workaround. So I would say agriculture and not-for-profit sector. How can blockchain be used in that particular setting?
Yeah, I would say in terms of privacy, I've seen a project that is currently being built on the blockchain for mostly for farmers, whereby I think about to give them ownership over their farm feeds or something like that. But it's mostly for privacy and ownership. I actually saw something whereby someone was building a project whereby the farmers are like um, planting their crops. Then when it's done, they I think for their meat it's an NFT, yeah, NFT for it. So more of like you having ownership over this data or probably calculating their data into the blockchain. I don't even know how exactly it was done specifically, but I know it's more for ownership. If you're into agriculture and you want to bring blockchain into it, just see it for like maybe go for the ownership aspect. Or you can also make more research about it as well. So that's it for me.
Okay. And I know you had mentioned some transparency. Would it become from the aspect of if let's say specific NGOs have their own regional autonomy and the head NGO wants to know what's happening, the kind of data that would be typically what it will be used for. Because you mentioned privacy. So I was just asking based on, is it transparency in terms of all the data that is being uploaded? Like for instance, different regions and executive wants to see, or it's for everybody to see?
Okay, there are different blockchains. So, if, for example, you want to keep some things private, you can go for the private blockchains. But if you are bidding on the public blockchains, everything is transparent in terms of the money that is coming in, the inflow of money, mostly transaction aspect, the inflow of money. Like when, for example, someone sending money from one place to another, the money is being logged on the private public blockchain. Everything is there. But if you want some certain things that are public, that are private, maybe I don't really know. Depends on what you want. You can go for the private blockchains. But blockchain is very
Okay.
transparent.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. So I see someone raising their hands, Eunice.
Hello, my name is Eunice. I'm from Kenya. I was wondering, is Web3 a language? I missed that part.
No, it's not a language. From the explanation I mentioned that Web2 is more of like, let me say, a car, right? And it's we have blockchain as the engine of the car. So Web3 is more of like the you interact with the web, you interact, you read, and then you have ownership of your data. So let me just give you for example, if for example Web2 application, which is the LinkedIn, the Twitter, if you're interacting with those applications, there are some privacy policies that you have to follow. And if you don't follow those privacy policies, they can decide to just ban your accounts or took ownership of everything you have. That's one limitation of the Web 2. But for Web 3, you have access to everything. Nobody can just come and say, okay, I want to ban your account. Or I want to take maybe all the hard work you have put into those accounts to build your account. They just ban it and nobody can do that. So Web 3 will give you an or like access to your data, give you like ownership of everything you have. It makes you feel more secure, and of course it's transparent if you're using the public blockchain. So it's all of things about Web3, but Web3 is like I mentioned before, we have the Web1, the Web2. Web3 is a new system that just like, let me say, addition of everything that's been built, a new layer that's been built upon those layers. So that's Web3 for you.
Hello everyone. I hope you can hear me.
Yeah.
So I had a question about art tokenization and NFT. What is the difference between NFT and art tokenization? I didn't quite understand the difference between the two.
They're the same thing. If I hear you correctly, you said art tokenization, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're almost the same thing. So it's actually the same thing to be honest with you, because NFT is more of like if you have a art, right? Maybe like an artwork that you really do love, you can just meet that art to the blockchain. So you meeting that art to the blockchain, you really want to have ownership over that art, like that artwork. You're owner of it. And you can decide to say, okay, I want to trade this on the blockchain for a certain amount of money. You want it to be tradable. People can come in and start buying that your artwork, or you can try to say, okay, let me just give them a certain share of that artwork, or maybe I don't want to give it to them. It is just mine and mine only. Anything you want to do with it, you can do with it. So I don't know if I answered your questions very well, or if I didn't, just let me know.
Actually, yeah, you did answer my question, which brings me to my second question. In the event of a person decides to go for art tokenization, I saw in one of your websites, I believe it's called Toiwo. Is it a marketplace for art tokenization where you can sell a token for a specific art?
Yes, so that's not really my website, it's the company I work for, Toyo. So what Toyo does is that they tokenize different kind of assets, like maybe themes, anything you have you want to tokenize. So you tokenize it. Although the marketplace is not currently live right now, it's just the token that will soon be live. The token that I can use to buy those assets on the marketplace. But that's the same thing that does like they just like tokenize different assets. For example, if I have a car, I can just snap it and just put it on the blockchain. If I have like maybe a land, oh, this is my land, put on the blockchain. That's it. So people just come and buy those stuff and trade. So it's more like you're making money on the blockchain. So it's a whole lot. But I'm not really into NFTs and I'm not into trading. I don't really like trading. I'm just mainly focused on the technical aspects of blockchains. But I have good knowledge about it. So that's it. But if you really want to go into that, what I would advise you to do is to first of all make research about it. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. And my DM is always open, and I can always guide you to the right place, or probably guide you to somebody that can help you out. But that's it.
Okay.
You're
Maybe
welcome.
perhaps as a last question,
Okay.
suppose I have an art and it has gone through the NFT process and then it has been gone through an art tokenization. Then there's let's say a museum which was hosting this art, which had physical custody of the art. Then something happens to that museum. Maybe there was a fire, there was a theft, the art got destroyed. Does what does that mean in terms of my tokens and my NFTs?
It doesn't really mean anything. It's secure in the blockchain. Doesn't really mean anything. It's just that copy of it. You get the copy you uploaded on that blockchain. That's just what it means. Not really the physical one though, but the copy you upload that's just unique. That's what it means. That what will be tokenized for everybody to come and purchase. So everything is being done on chain. Like that's what everybody interacting with. You don't really care about that one that's your holding, but it's that one that's just there. That's just the only owner. You're the only one that
So,
have access to that thing.
as a follow-up question, you said if the physical art gets destroyed, and then there are still tokens for for the art,
Yeah.
people will still place value on their tokens, on the
Yes.
digital tokens, despite
Yeah.
the fact that the physical art is no longer there.
Yeah. As long as that's what I know. Yeah. Like what they care about, Web3 is about money. Money moves in
Okay.
Web3. So as long as that thing everybody's seeing it there, like and it's tradable, they'll keep on buying and buying, having a share of it. Sometimes somebody can just come. I saw when somebody, a lady, because I've not really do more of NFT, but I heard it, I saw it online. I don't know, I think she uploaded a book or something. She has a very nice following on Twitter. She just uploaded a book on one of these NFT platforms, just uploaded it there. I don't know what was going on. Somebody just came and put up to like was it $24,000. I don't even know what it was, a big amount of money. But just bought it. I was like, wow, really? But I guess that's what she's meant to do in the space though. But it was very, very nice. Nobody cared if she had that thing with her, as long as she was the one that uploaded it there and it's tradable and everybody's seeing it. There's money inside. Everybody just wants to. Not everybody just put money, so put up money. But they have to provide liquidity for it though. So just liquidity that's provided. Liquidity is the money that's been tradable. So it's a whole lot, yeah, but I know you get it.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So for an app to be able to support blockchain transactions, it has to be Web3 enabled, from what I'm getting.
What do you mean by Web3
What do you mean by
enabled?
Web3 enabled?
It has to be built upon the structure of Web3 that you just explained to me.
Actually,
Developers.
okay.
Okay.
Okay, all right, thank you. So developers are the one that built the system. I don't know if I can just search for like it. Just search for maybe public NFT marketplace. Just search for it. Those stores have been built by the developers and they have the way that's been structured, right? So if, for example, me as a developer, I build something very, very simple that maybe all what you just need to do as a normal user, I should just go there, put in your image, upload your image, put in the name, and put in, for example, you just want 12 people to have access to the NFT, put in 12 people, and maybe just put in, I don't know, maybe the amount you want to start with the bidding, put in the amount there, and you just upload it. That's very seamless for you, right? It's very, very useful. But one thing you have to know is that the way Web3 is right now, although there are other people like me that is building a system whereby the Web2 people can just use Web3 without not knowing that they're using Web3. But the way Web2 is being built right now for the general way, you have to have a wallet for you to interact with Web3 applications. Like for example, now this is my wallet, right? This is my wallet, all this to sign transaction and everything. Without this wallet, I don't know if you can see my screen. Okay, stop sharing my screen. Let me share it again. Okay, got it. Okay, this is my wallet, right? And without this, my wallet, I can't interact with any Web3 applications because I have to sign transactions. So that's how the general Web3 things is being built. But there are people like me that is building something that is so seamless that you don't have to worry about how to create a wallet, how to send transact, how to send this normal Web3 tokens to the wallet, for you to interact with any Web3 application. What you have to do just to have your normal, maybe your normal money of like normal local currency, and just send it to us and we're able to do everything. You just have to interact with the application without even knowing that there's blockchain in it. Those are people that are building something amazing like that. But for the normal Web3 applications, you have to have a wallet for you to interact with it. So it depends on how the developer builds the system and the way maybe the project owner wants the system to look like, or the flow to look like. So that's it for me.
No, there's a question in the comments. Mary said, great session. But she also asked how to secure job opportunities in Web3.
Okay, so that's a tough question. Okay, there are different ways. One of the way that's very, very much advisable is to have a skill. If you don't have a skill, it's going to be very challenging for you. There are other ways that you can do without not having a skill. For example, that's not really a job. For the job aspect part, you have to have a skill. There are different skills. I think I have a session about that. I'll talk about the job aspects and the skill aspects. I'm pretty sure I have a session for that. But just to give you a little bit of intake in it, I would say the different kind of skills. Like for me, for example, I'm a developer, right? Blockchain engineer. It's my skill as a blockchain engineer. I can take in jobs of like developing things or interacting with things or anything I want to do, right? And I also have a skill as a DevRel, a developer relations, meaning that I can handle developers. I really have experience with doing that already, being able to build a developer community and interact with them because I already have knowledge of the developer. So I can take in a job as maybe a developer relations that can manage the developer aspect. So let's forget about the technical aspect and let's go to the non-technical aspects because there are jobs opening for non-technical aspects. For non-technical aspects, you can have job as a content writer. If, for example, now you love writing, like you love writing without your skills and maybe your knowledge about the blockchain itself, you can use that your skill to get a job as a content writer. Right now, to be honest with you, in the project I'm building, I'm trying to look for a way to get somebody that can help me with social media management and content writing so that the person can just help me organizing Twitter spaces and different things like that. And when that is being done, the person gets paid. You see, that's one of getting job. And if you do your job very well, you can even stay in the company for a very long time. The same goes with other companies as well. About there's also job opportunities about you being a designer. You know how to design things, maybe design nice graphics or design website. Mostly graphics because if you look at Web3, for example, this flyer that they did for me to come here, it was designed by somebody, right? In Web3, there always going to be a design need for designers because we need people that will design things. Me myself, I sometimes want to post something. I wish I somebody able to design something I can just use to post because I want to make it look more professional. So those people they get paid. Well, it might not really be that big, but they get paid. So let me just go back to the let me go back to the little bit about technical aspects. It's something that is really good right now is security engineers, people that secure the blockchain, try to secure the blockchain and try look for to protect against people that want to hack the blockchain. Those people get paid as well. So it's not about picking a niche, something you know that you can easily resonate with, something you know that okay, I love doing this. You're not doing it because people are doing it, no. You're doing it because you know you love doing it. So pick a niche and learn about that niche. Then while you're learning, you can even get jobs while you're learning. Depends on what you're learning though. If you're learning about technical things, it can take up to like 1 or 2 years for you to get a job. But just keep learning and also try your best to volunteer for communities. Because while you're learning and you're volunteering, you get more experience. Because even when you get a job, they will ask you, can you please show me your portfolio? What have you done? And if you don't have anything you have done, you can't really get that job unless you want to volunteer for the company. So it's a whole lot. The space is growing, and I really love to see you guys in the space. So that's it.
Okay. So, with that being said, I want to conclude today's session because we have 2 more sessions that are going to be coming up. So, we'll conclude today's session. Thank you for doing such an amazing job. It's always good to see someone that condenses the information into a simplified way that people can learn because blockchain is not complicated, but it's hard if you're not understanding the lingo that's the word, because it has a lot of language that we're not used to hearing. And some of the languages sometimes could mean opposite of, and especially for someone like myself who was in banking. So trust me, when it's confusing, I know because I've experienced it myself. But with that being said, Progress, I just want to thank you so much. We look forward to our next session. Thank you everyone for joining us. Please bring your questions because this is your opportunity to learn and grow. Otherwise, everyone, have a wonderful day.